Hey there gamers, welcome back to the Board Game Co channel, and this is a preview of the wins of Numa Sera. Well, hey there gamers, welcome back to the Board Game Co channel. I'm Professor Meg, and today we have a preview of the wins of Numa Sera. Thank you to Dark Rose Studios for sponsoring this video, and this is a current Kickstarter. This is actually a fully funded current Kickstarter. You can check out their link down below, but I also highly suggest checking it out to see everything that they have both being unlocked and everything that they have planned. There's a lot of beautiful goodies, and the copy that I have in front of me is a deluxe edition, so this is going to be a bit of the upgrades. I'm not sure if this is the final die that they have planned, but they do have a custom die in the game that's for battling that has different sides on it that aren't the classic 1 through 6, and even this has like skulls and blood on the inside, so definitely check out their page to see everything that they have planned. And with that, let's take a look at the wins of Numa Sera. The Wins of Numa Sera is going to be an extremely fast-paced tactical strategy game that will give an RPG-like feel for players who are battling against each other's kingdoms. Now, in the game, you are working toward 4 different victory conditions, and depending on the length of game that you want to play, you'll either have players working toward 1 or 2 of those victory conditions. And as players get closer and closer to these victory conditions, you'll start noticing that other players are doing absolutely anything they can do to stop them. So I'm going to go over those conditions first, and then I'm going to go over the pace of play of what your turn structure will look like. But those 4 things that you're going to be looking for are going to be shown on your player board here. Every kingdom is going to have its own player board, and they are asymmetric. You're going to have this build tree that you're working on, and that's going to have asymmetric powers as well as the different heroes that you're playing as. And along this board, it shows you the 4 conditions, which are Legend, Champion, Conqueror, and Master. Now for Legend, this is going to be your unlocking classes, so you're going to have 5 classes. You see 4 here plus the 1 that's been unlocked, and there are different ways that you're going to be unlocking these. Now these classes are all going to have different ways for you to unlock them, and it's going to definitely reward players for trying to do multiple things. Even if you're working toward one of the other goals, you might become a specific class, which is going to help you more throughout the game along with the other things that you're gaining, but as soon as you hit that 5th class, you could also potentially win the game. For example, here we have the Sage card, and for this one, after you build, if you have ticked at least 4 builds in the tree here, then you would become a Sage, and it gives you an extra ability, which is buying a level 2 or higher skill from the skill training colleges costs 5 less capital. Now we'll get there in a second, but this is another way to win the game, and it's going to be a bit cheaper for you. The next one would be Champion, slay 3 heroes. This one, you can see that this player is getting pretty close to this goal, and it would be you, in the game, you're able to attack both strongholds that belong to players, strongholds that are available for everyone to attack, and other players' heroes. As soon as you've slain 3 of their heroes, you do have the Champion win condition. After that, we have Conqueror, which is control 4 strongholds at the same time. To control a stronghold, you need to either attack it and take it from an opponent. When you attack an opponent's stronghold, if you win the attack, you then take it from them. Or you could also get one from the market here, which doesn't roll a defense die, meaning that they are a bit easier to acquire, and especially if there aren't any other to take from your opponents, you need to be taking them from here. But they provide ongoing abilities. They'll add to your residual capital, and they'll also have abilities such as this one where you're place 2 capital on it at the start of every round, and you can spend capital to buy items from the World Forge. So these 4 coins you can use specifically for World Forge items, and it gives you extra income for things like that. Now the 4th one that I already mentioned is Master. The Master win condition would be when you finally master a skill tree, which is having 4 cards of the same skill type. Here you can see the agriculture training, and this player currently has 2 levels in this skill because they have 2 cards placed down. Now these skills cost you 10 gold, but everyone after that will cost you the price that you've already paid and then some. So the first one will cost you 10, the second one will cost 20, the second one will cost 30, and the last one will cost 40 gold, meaning that in total you'll have spent 100 gold to gain the Master win condition. Now, as I said, becoming a Sage can be really important for you because that makes that just a bit cheaper for you, but there are also things that you'll be able to trade throughout the game, and these skill cards are something that you're able to trade. So you may be able to get them a bit cheaper from other players because they've already paid the price for you. Winds of Numa Sera is all about chasing toward these victory conditions. As soon as players reach either 1 or 2, they win the game. So it's very important not only to try to get to your own goals as fast as possible, and also adjust to the game when certain things are thrown at you to try to go for other goals instead, but you also need to definitely keep an eye on all of your opponents to make sure that no one is getting ahead of you either. Alright, and with that we'll go over the turn overview, and at the beginning of the turn you'll have any of your start of turn actions. That's going to be the income that you gain on your fortresses, as well as abilities that characters may give you. For example, these ones here, these are slain heroes, but when they were available to their players, they had abilities at the start of their turn. After that, you will move on to phase 1 and you will explore, which is drawing a card from the exploration deck. You're also able to buy, equip, trade, and use items, and we'll get to that in just a second, but that's something that you will also be doing during this first phase. So when you explore, you're going to draw the top card from this exploration deck, and we'll take a look at what it is. Now, when you draw the top card, if there's an eye symbol down here, that means that it resolves immediately. So this is one that we would read as soon as it's drawn. You meet a man who looks familiar. You realize you saw his face on a wanted poster and apprehend him. You return him to the nearest township for the reward. Gain 4 capital, or gain 8 capital, and all other players gain 4 capital. So that's where you have a choice if you want to give some money to all other players because it was a very big bounty, or if you want to choose to take less capital and keep it all for yourself. Now at the top of the discard pile here you can see a skull card. These are bad things that are going to happen to players that happen basically immediately, and this one is a gray bear where the player would lose 3 power. Your power is your health for each of your heroes, and you have 3 heroes where you have a line of succession that you play through for your kingdom, and you're also able to choose the order that these cards are placed in at the beginning of the game, so you'll know exactly which hero and which ability is going to come out in which order as your heroes are killed throughout the game. Now, to go through some other cards that you might draw from the exploration deck, there are attack cards, which are going to be red, and these are ones that you save for battle. So, for example here, this one is, if you win this battle, your opponent must choose to give you a maven of your choosing. If you lose this battle, then your opponent discards a maven of their choosing. If you are a rogue, this card has no cost to play, because you can see the cost up here at the top, which is 6 gold. You would need to be able to have that to play during the battle phase. However, if you had gained the rogue class, that would make this card now free for you. So those are battle cards, and as was just mentioned, there are also mavens. There are mavens that you are going to add to your dashboard that are also going to make you more powerful and join the fray with you. So for example here we have Cleese. Upon drawing, discard Cleese and gain 5 capital, or accept Cleese into your inner circle and gain his special ability, which would be Berserk. In battle, you have +1 attack stat if your opponent's defense stat is lower than your attack stat. So this is a way to be a lot stronger throughout the game. However, if that 5 capital is more important to you in the immediate sense, that may be a reason to do that. But I think mavens are very strong to be adding to your cohorts to be able to help you out throughout the game. Alright, so after your Explore card, or before in between any of those, you have your other actions, which are buy, equip, trade, and use. Now, to buy, you're going to use your money here, and that would be buying any of these World Forge items. As I noted earlier, I do have the strongholds that I would be able to spend this money on these items as well, but that's something that's special to having this particular stronghold. Otherwise, you would spend your money that is available to you, and you can buy these different items that will give you different strengths. Now, you can see here that you can have different things equipped for your helmet, armor, your hands, and your bag. So you'll be able to purchase quite a few things and add it to your character to make you stronger throughout the round, especially as you gain money. So that's another action that you're able to do, which is simply equip, which is when you are equipping those items onto your hero. You're also able to trade. Trading is really unique in this game, that you are able to trade almost anything you have with other players during this phase. So you're able to trade cards that you have, as I mentioned earlier, the skill cards that you've purchased. You're able to trade capital. The only thing that you aren't able to trade is the heroes that start with your faction and your different classes, which you need to acquire for yourself based on the journey that you've lived. But you can trade items and cards that you have drawn, such as battle cards, your mavens, anything like that, and you can trade them not only in a way that you're looking for something and it might be helpful, but you may want to enforce trades to manipulate other players. You might say, I won't attack you in the next few rounds if you trade a certain thing to me, and you could try to predict different outcomes, such as, I will attack this other person for you if you give me this thing that I want. So trading can be really intense, especially toward the end of the game when players are getting closer and closer to those end victory conditions, and it can really be a free-for-all for who might hit those end victory conditions first, based on not just trading, but what players are deciding to do and the different deals that they're making around the table. Finally, we have use, which is just using a card or an item, and that one is pretty self-explanatory based off of everything else that we've gone through, and from there we'll move on to Phase 2. During Phase 2, you can choose to build or attack. If you choose to build, you will collect your residual capital, and then take 1 build blocks. So your residual capital is going to be money that you are gaining throughout the round if you choose to do this ability, and you gain your base 4 money plus whatever other abilities you have throughout the board. So here you can see that this faction is gaining 8 gold. If they chose to do this ability, they would gain the 8 gold onto their player board here, which they would just place as such. And then after that, they would be able to take 1 build block. The build trees are what make all of the different kingdoms really asymmetric and unique. Each of the kingdoms is geared toward working toward one of these goals and being very good at it. The one that I have showing in front of you is the one that is best for mastering the different skills because they're really good with economy and money. The one that they start with even is whenever you attack, gain 2 capital. So it rewards you for attacking even if you're not gaining that residual income. You have abilities that are giving you additional income throughout the game. So that's how the boards can be really unique, but this is also a skill tree where you will have to choose exactly which boxes to tick as they need to go in ascending order. So from here, where you have efficiency, you can then choose to go to Bountiful Empire or Royal Advisors, and you're going to have choices along the way, as you're only going to be able to take so many build actions. So as you are doing this, you'll be using the abilities that work best for you. And I did not know earlier, but these skill cards, as they build up, they will also make things stronger and stronger for you. So for example here, Agricultural Training, in level 1, you get +2 residual capital to the build tree. Now, level 2, you would get +4 residual capital to the build tree. So this one should actually have a +8 available here. You can see that this is a dry erase board. So it makes it very easy to update your board as changes are happening, which is very important when you are battling. If instead players choose the attack action, they will then declare their target, and they have 3 choices to attack. They have either an independent stronghold, which is the easiest and most straightforward, and then also a player's hero and a player's stronghold. Now when attacking an independent stronghold, you're going to look at the defense value of the strongholds that are available here on the shared board, and you will be attacking based on their defense. So for example here, this top stronghold has a defense of 5, and when you're attacking, you are hoping to meet that 5 value. So if I was attacking with this character, their attack is currently a 6, and you would roll the die. Now this has +1, +2, +3, -1, -2, -3, and we got -3, which would be a 3, which is pretty terrible, considering that we needed at least a 5 to be able to beat this. Now, if I had played any battle cards, I might have been able to still win this battle and change that result outcome, but you have to play your battle cards at the beginning of the turn, and that wouldn't really be a reason to do so, thinking that you would be able to do this, so strategically, I wouldn't have played a card, but you are able to do so. Now when attacking a player's hero, players are going to use their battlefield mats here, where they're going to fill out their different stats. You are also able to do it for attacking a stronghold, but these ones are very straightforward, so there's not as much math involved. When attacking a player's hero, you'll have your stat, which is going to be your base attack, and then you're going to have the battle roll, which is the die that I showed you. You'd also have any cards that you played, but there's another -3, so this would not be a strong attack at all. Then the other player would be able to roll their defense, so they would have their defense stat plus the die that is rolled, and then you would compare the two and do damage based on the difference. Damage is dealt to your power, which is used for other things as well, but it's primarily used when you are attacked from other players, but sometimes you will spend power to do other cards or abilities as well. As soon as a hero's power hits 0, they are defeated, and slain heroes will go above the board of the champion that defeated them. Attacking a player's stronghold is very similar, where they're going to roll a defense die, but if you beat the other player's defense of their stronghold, you are able to take it and gain it, which gets you even closer to the Conqueror ability, to the Conqueror win condition, because you are taking strongholds away from other players and also gaining the abilities that they have on them, making you even stronger. One final thing to note is that the artwork in this game is extremely unique and detailed and so beautiful. And even for these different skill cards, all of the different skill cards have unique art for the different cards that are available. So you can see here, this is the one that is geared towards weapons, and it has a different weapon depicted on each of the skill cards. So these are just really beautifully done, and throughout these, there are some cards that are holographic. I don't think it's going to show the best for you, so I do highly suggest checking out their Kickstarter page, but they have holographic cards in here that are really special and make you feel very strong when they are drawn. It's definitely something that's really nice when you get these really cool weapons that are holographic like your heroes, and you're able to equip them right next to them. Overall, Winds of Numa Sera is going to be a tableau building game that gives you an RPG-like feel. You're going to be accomplishing these different classes, attacking each other, building up fortresses, and going through this different encounter deck that is also trying to hurt you and help you with different things happening along the way. It's definitely a race to the finish where you are watching what all of the other players are doing because you are all working toward these end victory conditions, and as soon as someone reaches it, the game will end. This is a sponsored preview by Dark Rose Studios, and I would love to note that this is also a comic book which is published by Dark Horse Games. So there's a comic book that is along with the Kickstarter page. You can check this out. I have not yet read the comic book, but Alex from Board Game Co. has. He's started it, and he said it's pretty good so far. So there is this comic book which is based in this world, and you can see here that it has all of the art that is included and just adds to the lore and world building for everything that is happening. So you can check everything else out down below, but this has been the Winds of Numa Sera. I'm Professor Meg, and thank you all for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!